Thank you for tuning in. It's Jason Rios alongside my partner.
I'm Lefty Hernandez. We're here live at the Mix Lab on a Tuesday. Crazy Tuesday. It's a crazy Tuesday here.
Yeah.
Once again, we're at the Mix Lab. Everybody take a deep breath. We're at the Mix Lab Tuesday from 6 to 8 with Jason Rios. I'm Lefty Hernandez. We got a wonderful guest in the studio here with us, and we're going to try to get it all in, all the squeeze in, all the information. Ladies and gentlemen, I want everybody, waste no time, I want to say hello to my wonderful, good friend, veteran in the industry. Say hi to Mr. Bobby Shaw.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah.
Happy February 4th. I don't know if this is going to be on February 4th, but happy February 4th.
Yeah, guys. All right, a little update, guys, before we begin.
Yeah.
We are having issues in the studio, okay?
We walked into it.
We walked into a mess, so we apologize for that. So this is going to be pre-recorded. So we're going to record it now, and we're going to air it later on.
Oh, yeah.
So we are live in the Mix Lab, but not today, you know?
Yeah. All right. So you know what? It's still a show. We still got a great show here today. Yeah. So we're in the studio with Bobby Shaw. We're going to get right into it, you know, because that's probably what we need to do. Right, Bobby?
Whatever you say. I'm game.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, Bobby Shaw, for those who may know him or may not know him, let's a little bit about Bobby.
I would say probably most people don't, because for 40-something years I was always in the background until the last couple of years when I got a Twitch show.
There you go.
And people can actually, I mean, I go out to a club now and sometimes people stop me, and instead of saying, "There's Bobby Shaw, there's Bobby Promo," it's like, "Oh, yeah."
Yeah.
But, you know, I guess I'm proud and ecstatic that people watch my show. So
Yeah.
I do a show on Twitch every Saturday night under Bobby Promo.
What time?
Well, now I changed it. I used to do it at night, but I felt like doing it in the afternoon allowed a couple of things. One in the afternoon, I generally start now. One thing, it allows me to be free on Saturday nights, which I like.
Right.
Unless I do a crazy marathon show, which I have gone as long as 10 plus hours.
Yeah.
But and also it allows my show to be, I think it makes it more accessible for the Brits and people overseas in Europe.
Yeah.
You know, obviously it's a crazy hour in the morning in Australia and Japan, but
Right.
nonetheless, I kind of like doing it in the afternoon.
So what's that? 1 o'clock in the afternoon, right?
1 o'clock on Twitch.
Yeah, which makes
Bobby
it like
Promo.
7 o'clock in London and
6 o'clock in London and 7 o'clock in other parts of Europe.
yeah, and also you get Japan too there.
Well, Japan, I believe it's a 13 or 14-hour difference, so it's like 2 in the morning. So it is what it is.
All right. So again, so they call you Bobby Promo, and that's because
That's because, you know,
Yep.
well, like I said, I'm doing this a long time, but I was always in the background, and now people know what I look like.
Right.
You know, if you knew me from a club, that's one perspective, but now people actually physically see me.
right,
You know, outside of a club.
right.
So it's a whole different perspective on things.
So tell the people what this that you're doing, what this is. Why is
Okay, well,
why
this
is Bobby
is-
Shaw? Yeah. What is this that Bobby Shaw does? Tell us.
Well, I started in the music business way back in '77 as a mailroom guy and mailroom employee. I'm not going to go on genders here. I basically, from '79 to pandemic, I focused on the Billboard Dance Club Play chart, which was a chart made up of top 25 lists from 120-something DJs across the United States. And it was a chart that the DJs, it was not monitored. DJs gave what their top 25 and wasn't necessarily, you know, what's the difference between a number 5 and a number 3 record? You know, sometimes relationships. But anyhow, I promoted to that chart and was very blessed to promote a lot of great records. When I worked at MCA and Warner's, we had great acts. When I went on my own, reluctantly, I got blessed to have great records. I mean, someone once told me, this guy named Juggy Gales, he was a long time record promoter.
I remember Juggy.
Told me, make sure you can't make a good record out of a bad record, but make sure you don't make a bad record out of a good record. And that was kind of, you know, how I've always guided my life with the music. You can't There were some DJs I know who do mixes. Is that all right? The sound okay?
Yeah, that sounds great. I'm just
There were
yeah.
some people, some remixers that I used to work with, and they would take any record because they would say, "Oh, I can make it better." But you can only polish a turd so much.
Exactly.
And I've been offered so many records that I've turned down, and I mean, I even turned down Mariah Carey, and the label couldn't believe it. But I didn't like the record. You don't like it, you don't like it. If I'm not there to steal your money.
Yeah, well,
So anyhow,
you were honest, yeah.
So that always happened. Honesty is the only policy. So when the chart went away in 2020 because of the pandemic, clubs closed. I did suggest some ideas to keep the chart going, but Billboard, the guy who ran the chart, Gordon Murray, was no, can't do it like that. And I go, okay, well, if you can't, you can't. So I was upstate New York. I left New York City. I live in a 21-story building. I figured they were scaring the hell out of everybody. Everybody's getting COVID, and you're going to die, and this and that. You're going to be sick, and this and that. So luckily, my parents left my sister and I a place upstate, and I went up there, hibernated by myself, 10 miles from the nearest supermarket, bored out of my mind, binging on TV shows. And then I get a call one day from one of my ex-Billboard reporters, and he said, my buddy DJ Kova has a show on Twitch, and it's an interview show. Can you help get us some acts? I said, what the hell is Twitch? I have no idea what you're talking about. So I started watching Twitch, and I started watching Kova's show, and I see there's Chris Cox was the first DJ I saw play. And then I started watching it, and then I came back to New York, and I met up with Kova. And I got him David Morales for a show. And then I got him the staff of Strictly Rhythm Records.
Oh, nice.
And he said, I brought such credibility to his show with getting those two acts, getting those two interviews, that I started watching religiously, and I was a regular. And then he said, why don't I do a show on you? So I believe it was September 9th, 2020. We did a 2-hour show on me.
Now, when you say show, what type of show was that?
It's an interview, just like this.
Okay.
Just like this, except Kova's Kova. So and it was not it was not live. I was on a camera as opposed to you guys in front of me.
Right. Okay.
Kova was not in front of me. He was in Bayonne, New Jersey, and I was in Manhattan.
Right.
So I started gathering a list of DJs around the world and started making a list together, an email list. And then once I got a respectable amount of people, then I started going around to some of the smaller record labels. I didn't know who to contact at the big labels because the promotion people were the ones that I knew could give a flying fuck about. I'm sorry.
Beep 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 beep.
Could give a flying bang 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 bang.
A flying bird.
Okay.
Yeah. About Twitch because it didn't affect their radio. Is that okay? The
yes,
sound
no,
okay?
it's fine. I'm just trying to get a visual.
I
over
see you're
here.
making
little signs
hand
in between.
gestures.
Yes.
I thought you were doing like Elon Musk, Nazi Nazi signals.
We're not going there. Okay, no, we are live.
So some of the smaller labels love the idea that, let's say, DJ Spen, Quantize Recordings, like there's I'll just put it to mildly. There's like a white nerdy DJ in I don't know, I'll just say Germany per se. Boom. Playing a Quantized record that he might not, be playing otherwise. And it just wound up being that we started spreading records, and a couple of labels really loved the idea. And even the girl at Interscope, Brenda Romano, hired me at Interscope. Which was the first really major label. Atlantic, RCA gave me a couple of records, but Interscope, Brenda Romano was great. She hired me for a bunch of records: Elton John, Britney Spears, Elton John, Dua Lipa, and and even though it was basically a United States-based company, she loved the fact that the records were getting played all over the world. She understood what I was trying to do, and the small labels love it because the small labels care about the world, whereas, let's say, Sony US, to this day, I can't get a response from them. The guy who's in charge of the digital marketing doesn't return my emails. He doesn't return my calls. They don't get it, but, they care about what goes on in the United States. And I don't think they give a damn about a guy in the Netherlands playing their records because they care about the United States.
Yeah.
I can't get arrested with the majors, but the independents like it because it really helps them. And that's where we're at. I service over, I service over 800 Twitch DJs around the world with music. The list grows every week. I'm also servicing mix show guys here in the States, and I try to do dance radio. Whoever will take my calls, and I've developed something. I'm the only person doing this on Twitch, and I hope it turns out to be a good thing. Mm-hmm. They started their own DJ category back in August. I don't feel it's had as much as an impact that it could have, but we'll see. You got to spend money to make,
Yeah,
exactly. and I don't see much investment being made in it. I don't see any publicity. Everybody knows TikTok. Why can't everybody know Twitch?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and I also realize that a lot of times when people get onto Twitch, like for example, when I play on Twitch, it's like people feel like it's foreign. It's like they don't want to log in. They don't want to, and it's like if you want to hear the music without getting all these strikes like YouTube, Twitch is a place to go to.
Yes. Well, it's funny. I'm a big Grateful Dead fan, so I did a Jerry Garcia birthday party, and I'm on a bunch of Facebook Grateful Dead sites. And so I put it up there, and I got like 3,100 comments and likes. I said, oh, my God, this is going to be a major show. It was probably one of my worst attended shows ever. Like, I think I averaged 28 people.
Really?
Yeah. It was like I thought everybody was going to come, but I guess people don't have Twitch accounts.
Yeah.
And they just never came to it.
Yeah, we're trying to push Twitch as well. No, we feel like that's a better platform, especially for DJs.
Well, like I said, I've gone to the last 2 Twitch cons here in the States. I met the CEO, Dan Clancy. I gave him some ideas of how I thought the DJ platform could improve. Yeah, we're working it. I went back last year. Well, we're working it. I still haven't seen anything that maybe doesn't like my ideas, but I haven't seen any progress at all. And I understand in a way why the record companies, the majors, don't get it. There's no chart. There's no detection system. There's no proof of who's playing what.
Right.
Why invest in something you can't get accurate results in?
Right.
So I don't fault the record companies for not hiring me. I mean, I also think they wear blinders a little bit because there is a way to expose your music. It's just there's no proof in the pudding of who's exactly playing it. I mean, for me, what I do now, it's like a lot of DJs. First of all, I watch Twitch 24/7, but there were some DJs who were so professional and will tell me what they're going to play on their show of mine. And those are the ones I'm obviously indebted to them. But most of the 800 don't return my emails. They don't understand what I do. Some of the DJs on Twitch have said, like, I don't even know what you do. I never knew there were such people as dance music promoters.
That's interesting. All right. So because we go back, come back from an old school, and
Right.
and so the question is, of course, Bobby, like, what happened, right? What happened to who we were and how we did things, and where we are now? I mean, we know, but like explaining it,
Like there was a guy in Vancouver, I think Vancouver or something, Edmonton. And he said to me, Bobby, I'm playing over 25 years. You're the first person that's ever cared what I'm playing.
Wow, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So promotion, which was a big deal once, now today is social media.
Well, it was always big for dance music for the Billboard chart, but now it's social media is it's prevalent, obviously.
Wow. We talked about some great stories, and so you told us, how it all started for you.
We didn't get there.
I was just gonna say that. I was just gonna say we actually
maybe you and I talked about it in the car, but we didn't get there yet.
No, you know what? You said 1977.
We should have rigged the car with some mics.
No, you told us.
Actually, at the deli the other day.
You told us here. You told us here tonight that in 1977 you were working in the mail room, and that's how you got into it. So
let's get into that.
Yeah, take it from there.
How you rock? Because not for nothing, you started from the bottom.
That's right. I'll never forget it.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if I ever worked my way to the top because I'm not the president of a record label.
You were the VP of
I was
MCA.
a VP of dance music promotion.
Come on, that's far.
The only one.
And it's funny because in this show we try to encourage people, our listeners. You know what? That no matter what it is, you just put your heart to it and just keep focused and just be consistent. You can reach goals.
Anybody ever ask me for advice, I always say, if you have a chance to get in, no matter what position it is,
Right.
take it.
Exactly.
Because getting in is the tough part. Then proving yourself. Obviously, there's a lot of politics along the way, but getting in is the major thing.
I used to be a PA back in the days, working in films, and I had the honor. I didn't even know who she was, but one day I walked in. I worked with some girl. I'm not gonna say her name yet. I was assistant art director, so I built a set for her shoot.
Did you work with Bruce Jenner?
No, no. No, Lefty wasn't around back then. No, but check it out. So I built a set for her, and I'm hearing her sing. I'm like, wow, she's pretty good. So I went home that night, and one of my neighbors, he came up. He was like, "Who were you working with today?" And I was like, "I don't know, some girl, Mariah Carey." He was like, "Oh my God, I didn't know who she was at the time." But come to find out, it was Mariah Carey. Her first song, one of her first songs, "I Don't Want to Cry." And if you look at the background, it was like a cottage. I built that. That was mine. That was.
Well, isn't that something I said before I turned down a Mariah Carey record, and then you bring her up?
Yeah, it's amazing. It's like a small world.
That's it.
But I mean, I didn't know who she was, and I worked on her set. I worked with a lot of people back in the days, in films. So I used to be a PA. Then I got into the art department. I love art. And then I loved the DJing, and I got into that. But for me to to come home and to realize that I was just working with a Grammy Awards thing, I was like, no way.
Yeah.
How could you not know Mariah Carey? Was that at the beginning of her
That
career?
was beginning.
Yeah, in the very beginning. She had a sister who passed away. She was living with HIV, and she had passed away back then. But I remember she was so thin. So it was a long time ago.
I ain't saying nothing.
That was that's Mariah Carey. But so that go ahead. You were telling us. I'm sorry.
I wasn't telling you anything. You were like interrupting me.
It's been that kind of day, guys.
So you want to know like how I ever got started in the mailroom?
Yep. From there.
Okay.
Yeah, you progress.
Came out of college, University of Buffalo. Worked for my dad. My dad owned a printing firm. Hated it. Didn't want to be involved in printing. I didn't really care for working with my dad. I was living at home with my parents. Used to get up, go in the car. I had no interest. And my dad, did okay for himself, but it wasn't about that. It was about my mental. I wanted to be happy. I wasn't happy there, so I had no interest. And then I started going to this bar called the Barefoot Boy on 304 East 39th Street, between First and Second Avenue. I started going there regularly, and I also stopped working for my dad. I got a job at Saks Fifth Avenue doing Christmas help.
Okay.
In I believe it was 1976 maybe, yeah. Anyhow, so maybe it was 77. But anyhow, one day the manager came over to me and out of nowhere and said, I see you here a lot. So obviously he must have liked the way I looked. And he said, would you like a job here as a busboy? Like, okay. So I started working. I carried a tray. I had no shirt on. I was wearing little shorts. It was a boys' bar. And then I became very good friends with the DJ. His name is Tony Smith. And Tony and I really, really bonded very, very well. And in those days, the record labels their reps would come up and bring records to Tony.
Right.
So any break I could get, and I saw a record person come up, you had to climb a ladder. I was up that ladder to see what they were bringing.
Right.
And I got to know a bunch. Eventually, they made me a bartender, and I got to know people in the record business through Tony. And when they came to the bar, to the discotheque, I was their bartender. I would take care of them. If I could give them a free drink, I would. If not, I'd make sure they were covered. And then I started going around with Tony on Friday afternoons to get free records. I would go with him to the labels because in those days, the DJs would go around RCA, to Warner's, to Columbia, to whoever, Arista, Ariola didn't have an office here, Midsong, and they'd get their records and Island Records, and I'd go around with Tony, and I would be getting all the promos. They would, because I knew the promo guys and promo women, I would get free records. So like my collection in my house now, I have things that very difficult to get because I was getting the DJ records, the DJ
Right.
promos, even though I wasn't a DJ. And then in 1978, actually, it was 1978, actually, I started in the business. Um, I went around. I bartendering was not. Maybe it was 77. I'm not even sure of the date, but I was like bartendering was not going to be my career. And so I went around to two labels. I went to see Audrey Joseph, and she was at, I believe, Arista, and Ray Caviano at TK Records. And Ray said, "I have a job for you in the mailroom," and I took it for. It was a 35-hour week. $3 an hour. I was bringing home $84.30 a week, and
Big time. He was big time.
and I
To the
was
penny.
making it was make to the penny. I was making $105, 35-hour week, and I was packing records and dragging them to the post office to the mail truck on Park Avenue between 56th and 57th Street, and that's what I was doing. But in the interim, because I was addressing the envelopes, I got to know the names of the major DJs around the country.
Right.
Basically, it was mostly Billboard reporters. And eventually, Ray said, "Why don't you start calling some of these people for me?" And that's how I got into the promotion thing. And then Ray was a great promoter. And Warner Brothers offered him a job. And he went to Warner's, got his own label called RFC Records, which he promoted those and the Warner's records. And he inherited a promotion guy named Mark Murphy. So here I was. Well, I guess I'm getting the big job. Well, he brought in somebody else. I was not too pleased. Somebody with no experience, and they kept me in the mailroom. They raised me to $150. I was like, this is not what I'm really happy about, but it was a guy, and nothing against Dan Joseph that he brought him in, but he brought this guy named Dan Joseph, and Dan brought his friend in, Laurie Ingber. The two of them had no experience, but nonetheless, I had to work for them. Bit my tongue, and a couple of months later, Ray calls me up and said, "I'm really not happy with the guy, Mark Murphy, who they gave me. I'm letting him go. Would you want to come over and work for me here?" And I jumped at the opportunity. $300 an hour, $300 a week.
Wow, $300.
Yeah,
Yeah, can you imagine?
Are they
Today?
hiring?
Yeah.
$300 a week, so my salary went up to $15,600. And I got an apartment in the city. My parents were helping me pay the rent. I went 322 East 90th, and I left my parents. And I actually left my parents a little before that, but anyhow, I started working for Ray, and I started promoting the Warner Brothers and RFC records. Just to the northeast part of the country. We had a staff, Joey Carvello in Boston, Jim Strait in Chicago, Craig Kostic in L.A., Marianne Claypatch was our secretary, Vince Aletti was our A&R person, and Bobby Siegel was Ray's right-hand person, and Larry Patterson did the black clubs for Ray.
Wow. Talk
That
about
was-
names, man.
That was our staff.
Wow.
We couldn't find some of those people at times, but
Well, you guys were all scattered.
It was
right?
right. Well, in the New York office was Marianne, Vince Aletti, Ray, Bob Siegel, myself, and when we could find Larry Patterson.
Larry,
Larry
yeah.
was there most of the time, but there were times we couldn't find him. But that's
Right.
okay.
well,
we
it
love
was,
Larry.
It was a different time, and so yeah.
It was, and we had our own floor because Warner's had just expanded. So like we used to smoke marijuana in there because nobody bothered us
Yeah.
because there was nobody else in there.
Was that when they moved to
It was
the
3
Rock?
East. It was 3 East 54th Street.
Oh, that's the 54th Street. I remember that. Yep.
So anyhow, Warner's. So Ray, I went to work for Ray as part of the staff, and I don't know how long it took, but Ray did not know how to. I'm not going to put him down, but I guess he didn't get along. There's something went wrong with the main headquarters in Ray. Let's put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
And they decided, I guess, to sever his contract. I don't know the legalities of why he was let go. I never discussed it with him, but they let go of the entire Warner's dance department except for Craig Kostic on the West Coast and myself. Everybody else was let go. And we were absorbed into the rhythm and blues department, worked for a guy named Tom Draper.
But you were still in promotions.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so I promoted records, and I was very blessed because I wound up doing the entire country. Craig was more so like the Warner Brothers rep for dance music in L.A. in the main headquarters, and I was the person who reported to him. And believe me, I had my difficulties with him, and I went to therapy because he drove me crazy. I did.
Yeah.
I never
Yeah.
believed in therapy, but I would sometimes go to a club. I'd start sweating. I got tremendous anxiety.
Wow.
And
It's a lot of pressure.
one day I called my parent. Well, it was him. I'll tell you exactly what happened. One day I called my parents in the morning and I said, "There's an issue here. Is the camera okay?
Yeah, and you come in here. I could get you in this camera there. Just move it.
Where are we going here?"
All right, so go ahead. So you were saying, I'm sorry.
So I woke up and I called my parents. I said, "I'm dying. Something's wrong." and they rushed to get me. We went to the hospital, and there was absolutely nothing wrong with me. And one day, my friend Billy Carroll said to me, "You maybe want to go to therapy." I'm like, "Therapy? Are you freaking kidding me? I ain't going to no therapy." Anyhow, I took his advice, and it was the best thing I ever did. And I always tell people, if you have an issue, it's sometimes good to talk about it with somebody who doesn't know you and has no bias at all and just an innocent bystander who's educated in this sort of thing. And we found out what my issue was, and one day he just said to me, and I wasn't there that long. He said, "You don't need to come back here anymore." And he was right.
Wow. Wow, that's awesome. That is great, man. So
yeah, I learned what I learned was it's okay to fail. Nobody's perfect in this world.
You're right.
You know what? And and being in this industry, music, that the pressure of that is so high.
Well, this
that
guy Craig,
you don't think that. No, that you don't, to the word fail is almost like, oh my God, you don't even want to hear that kind of word. But
anytime a record didn't go the way my boss wanted it to go, it was always Bobby Shaw's fault. It was never the music. It was my fault.
Right. Oh, yeah, because they hold high accountability, right?
When I got the number ones, it was great. But when something didn't go the way he wanted it,
right.
I mean, I got a letter from him that I still have saved, condemning how I was working.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow. You had mentioned, so when you started, you were handling the Northeast area, and then when all those changes happened, that you ended up doing the whole country.
Correct.
So some of the artists, so back then, I know with RFC, you promoted artists like Luther Vandross, right? And
we didn't promote Luther Vandross. We promoted Change.
Right. I'm sorry. The group. That's right. The group Change. You promoted Change, and
Luther did The Glow of Love and Searching.
Yep. And other name others. We know, or just it's exciting because again, a lot of people still play, like, that I still to this day play a lot of old disco, or classic disco, and it's all made of all the stuff that you promoted, and the reason that they became hits were because of the hard work that.
The reason they became hits is because they were good records. I just happen to be blessed to be promoting them.
Yeah, there you go. But there were some awesome, very awesome tunes, and So go ahead, man. To keep bringing us up, bring us up to speed or up to date with how the transition, because we there a lot went on. And when I met you, I don't think you were at Warner Brothers. I think it was after. I don't remember now, but nevertheless,
I don't think you knew me at Warner's.
I don't think so. I met you when you were at MCA. But so Warner Brothers, Craig Costage, who's another.
And Craig's a nice guy, and if I saw him today, I'd love to have dinner with him.
There you go. Yeah.
Nothing at all. I don't carry any hostility. It was just that he drove me crazy.
Yeah. Well, I'll let people know that knowing you as long as I do, and also knowing a lot of people in the industry, that you're big on the gatherings, on the social, on getting together with all the wonderful people in this business. And I mean, I look up to that because it's very important, staying connected, with people. A lot of people just, they don't. But you've got a lot of.
I like going out.
Yeah,
I like being with people. I'm a people person.
Yeah.
And who the hell wants to stay home? I mean, I couldn't even watch the Knicks the other night. It was dreadful.
Here's a good one. Here's I know a story. You shared a number of stories with me over the last few days. So tell us about. We even mentioned her in the car. We talked about Madonna.
We did Madonna, yeah.
Yeah, and so go ahead.
I was good friends with Mark Kamens, who was the DJ at Danceteria.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what Mark and Madonna were doing, but they became very good friends, and we'll leave it at that. Anyhow, Madonna and Mark, they were close. Like I said, I don't know what they were doing, but nonetheless, she recorded a record called Everybody. Mark produced it.
Mm-hmm.
And they brought it up to Seymour Stein at Sire Records. Now get you Michael Rosenblatt. The three of us, Mark Hamons, Michael Rosenblatt, and I used to hang. Well, when Mark DJ'd on Saturday nights at Danceteria,
I used to go.
I used to hang out with Michael in the booth and watch Mark play, and then we'd Mark and I would go to the garage afterwards. But Madonna, her and Mark were close, and Mark brought her to Sire to Michael and Seymour. And I wasn't in the hospital, but they brought her to the hospital where Seymour was in at the time. That's what the story is, and they signed her.
Yeah.
And I was privy to be part of the beginning of Madonna's career.
Awesome. Now, Sire being under the Warner Brother label.
That is correct.
So you worked,
Sire was like 2 doors away from my office.
so did you work the record?
I worked all the Sire records.
All the Sire records, everything that fell under the Warner Brother umbrella.
So in those days, I kind of held Madonna's hand. I was her promoter. I was the only one at Warner's promoting her music at the time. And I was a big believer from day one, the first time I met her. This girl is going places. And I held her hand. She used to sit in my office sometimes and watch me work. I took her around to some clubs, introduced her to DJs, one in particular, which stands out, and is John Jellybean Benitez, who, obviously, that relationship went a little bit further than just DJing.
Yeah.
And look, it helped both of them. They both worked off each other, and, she did great for him, and he did great for her.
Also, it's funny because just until recently, I even asked you, for a long time, I thought that their relationship was so close that they actually legally got married, but that wasn't the case.
They did not get married. No.
I thought they did. I thought that they had, that's how tight their relationship was. But anyway.
No, so I brought her to the fun house one night, and that's how they met. And the rest is history between the two of them. And her and I went away together to Florida. We did a club tour together. We did 3 clubs. We did Casanovas in Fort Lauderdale. We did the Copa in Fort Lauderdale. Casanovas, I believe, Miami, actually. We did the Copa that weekend, and then we did the Copa in Key West. We did 3 shows that weekend. It was the only time I really went with her on the road, unless you consider Uncle Sam's on Long Island going on the road. But
well,
really,
those are the early New York clubs.
Right. Well, we did a night at Uncle Sam's, but we did that Florida trip together, the 3 of us. Well, it was actually more than the 2 of us. Actually, it was her brother Christopher, her dancers Erica and Bags, and that was it. It was 5 of us, and we did the shows, and then we went down. We drove down. I remember her and I went separately to Key West from Fort Lauderdale. I had a rented convertible, and it was great, just the 2 of us. This is when she was just starting, so there was nobody knew who she was, and we were listening to the radio and singing songs. I mean, when I look back at it, it's just a crazy thing. We were singing songs, and I was smoking marijuana, and she wasn't, but I was, and
right.
And then we got to Key West. We got our hotel rooms, and then like I say, it's so surreal that I was sitting in a hotel room, watching her and her dancers dance, and I'm sitting on the edge of the bed, and it's like a crazy thing to look back and saying I was part of that, but I was.
Yeah. Now, since you were part of the music and Madonna's side, were you part of the movies that she was involved in?
Absolutely not. Well, that was because I got MCA Records made a job for me in 1984, so I was really only there for the first album.
Oh, I see. Okay.
With Warner Brothers. So your time at Warner Brothers was from
1979 to 1984.
Okay.
TK, I think I started in the end of 77.
Yeah, you were there for like 2 years, right?
A year and a half, 2 years, something like that.
Okay, right. TK, yeah, we didn't talk about that.
Well, I sealed envelopes, and I brought them to the post office. Like I said, when
that's how you met all the
Ray
DJs
started having me call some DJs. I don't recall if I called them when Dan got there, but Dan Joseph was a really nice guy. Just I was a little envious that he got the position and it wasn't me. I was not too thrilled.
Well, that was a high time to be in the industry.
Yeah, but sometimes things happen for a reason,
right?
know?
Yeah.
Maybe he was supposed to be there, and for you to get settled in and learn, the back roads before anything,
I think I had learned enough about the mailroom by then, but it's okay.
No, as far as like the industry,
Well, it's funny because once again I'll bring up Juggy Gales, and again it's not a knock on Ray, but I'll never forget Juggy saying to me one day, he goes, "Bobby, one thing about Ray, learn what to do from him and learn what not to do from him."
Right.
Yeah. Well,
But Ray was an amazing, great promotion person. I learned so much from him,
wow.
and I praise him to this day that he brought me into the business.
Awesome. Yeah, Ray Caviano. Well, I've actually reached out, and he's still doing music like you. Again, that's why for me it's
I don't know
very.
if he's doing it like me, but he's trying. I know that. We're on two different pages.
And and it comes.
I'm looking for tomorrow. I don't think he's looking. Well, I don't know. Maybe he is. I don't know. I don't keep in contact with him.
We talked about that too because of the fact that although we come from a great time in the music, but today one of the things that a great highlight which we wanted to tap onto, and we're gonna go back because from there you went to MCA. But the fact is though, a lot of your work today is and some of the tracks that we have are definitely today's hits.
Oh,
Contemporary stuff.
I'm not living in the past. I'm looking for tomorrow, not
Right.
yesterday. Some people do get caught in the trick bag of like not advancing, but
Right.
I'm looking
Yeah.
for what's going to happen tomorrow, not what happened yesterday. I could care less what happened yesterday.
We're gonna talk about your time at MCA, but tell us now that we're on that. Tell us about so today, like selecting music. Oh, there was a time when so the music would fall in a category: R&B, disco. This was this or the other. Now everything is there's so much music spread out, and like it almost seems like instead of it all coming together, it kind of goes like really wide apart. So how do you survive today with that?
Well, first of all, I'm surviving toughly, but when I was doing the Billboard chart as an independent, I mean, people were throwing records at me left and right. Now trying to get hired for what I do now is not easy.
Mhm.
I expressed that before.
Mm-hmm.
I reach out. Because of my Twitch show, I always was on top of the music, but I tried to be. But doing a Twitch show, now I'm listening. I go on Beatport and TrackSource. I'm listening to 500-600 new records a week, and I'm trying to get hired for records I like, and it's just so difficult getting responses from people.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I could send, first of all, I don't know emails, and I'll send Instagrams or I'll send Facebook, and I'll look up addresses if I could find the labels. I mean, I'm sitting now. This week I sent out, the last couple of days, I sent about 4 different emails. I'm trying to work the new Weekend record. The record is 124 BPMs. They could do amazing dance mixes, but I can't get a response.
Right.
So what you're looking for are artists or
I'm a song plugger.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I look for good songs.
There you go.
And if whoever it is, I don't care if it's a nobody.
Right.
I tried to get hired for Telecast. Nobody spinning. I don't think they're really interested. What else have I recently put mine? I like the new Wiz Khalifa Location. I don't know if you know the record. I love the record. I never in my wildest dreams thought I would like a Wiz Khalifa record, but I really didn't know much about Wiz Khalifa. But I heard the record and I said, wow, this would be a great record to promote. It's only 3 minutes and I think 33 seconds. And one of the guys who does mixes, like, have you heard this? He goes, no. And I sent it to him and he sent me a 5.5 minute version. I'm sitting with it and like I'm waiting for them to like respond to me. I'm trying to tell these people like I have a great version that could work for club play.
Right.
I mean, not that look, being a DJ on Twitch, it enables me to play songs that maybe might not work 100% in the clubs with the mix, but they work for me on Twitch.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Twitch thing has really helped me. I'm not gonna say expand my mind musically, but it certainly inspired me to listen to so much music on a Friday and even on Tuesday when the new songs come in. I spend so much time listening to new music. And I try to play at least 10 to 15 new songs on my show a week.
You just said on Tuesday when the new songs come in. Why Tuesday?
That's when Beatport puts out new music on
Right.
Tuesdays and Fridays.
Okay, awesome.
So
Interestingly enough, today with all the music, you just so much music, so much out there, and yet and again, from when I know you was a time, and the record pools were bombarded with so many releases that you'd walk on a Friday night pickup. You pick up records every week. If you picked up 50 records one week, it was a slow week. Because it just and now you're saying like 6 times. Of what.
Well,
there's so much music.
I always said my job as a promoter is to get a DJ to listen to the record because there's so much music out there. Maybe somebody doesn't have time to listen to everything, but if you respect my taste and credibility, and I ask you to, I'll send out something and hopefully it'll get listened to. I mean, I really believe part of the problem with myself and promotion on Twitch is I don't even know if people are listening to my music.
Wow.
I see who opens my emails, but opening and clicking them are 2 different things.
And there's so many different genres out today too. Before it was disco, rap.
Yeah.
But now it's like,
right.
Now we got reggaeton, we got rock, we got all types of stuff.
The thing that really bugs me, and again, people will probably attack me for this, there's tech house, there's this house, there's this house.
Afro
to me,
house,
to me, there's Soulful House out of Chicago. See you later.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I was born on, Soulful House, and none of this other everything became house all of it. You go to Beatport, there's 20 house categories.
Yeah,
it's
you're
like,
right.
come on, man.
Right.
And it's funny because now I'm in a record pool, and when I look for tracks, I mean, you see so many different kinds of houses. Even new disco. They
Right.
took the new disco, they just threw a beat on it, and it's
Right.
called new disco now.
Right. The old,
Right.
Yeah. I said that we had that conversation the
Look,
other day.
I always learned there's only 2 kinds of music, good and bad.
Yeah.
Right.
And if you like it, I mean, I'll play on my show, and I'll play all different kinds if I like it. I'll
Right.
play a rock record if I like it.
So it brings us back to what you said about the problem today is tracking it. How do you to track? So you're on the show, you've got a new release, you believe in it, you're pumping it, you're promoting it, and tracking it. How do you get to know who's back there? You picked up the phone.
Well, like I said, some DJs are great with me. They respond. They send me
Yeah.
an email. I'm going to play this. Come to my show. I video it and I send it to the record label. But most of them do not.
Wow, a lot of work in this day. Yeah.
It is. I spend a lot of time on Twitch. I watch it basically from when I get up and after I have my coffee and look at I look at Mediabase every morning, which is the system that you could see what records are being played and the records I'm promoting. I see who's playing them, who isn't. Most of them aren't. And that's
Right.
life. And sometimes you get on a syndicated mix show where you get a lot of plays.
Okay. Wow. Amazing. So, and that's what's happening now, and so we'll bring it back to now. So let's go back. So you're Warner Brothers, and now MCA. You said they actually developed that position for you. Is that correct?
Well,
Yeah.
they had a girl named Kathy McIlroy doing it before me, but basically,
But it wasn't developed like that.
nah, it wasn't like she wasn't like living in the clubs.
Right.
The club life was my life. Even if I wasn't in the record business, I'd be going to clubs. That was what I did at night.
Yeah.
I never got a big relationship because I was married to the clubs.
Yeah.
But that's awesome though, because that's really where where you got new music.
I love going out, and I still do in a way. I mean, it's a little different now, but I still love going out.
Wow.
Let me ask you something, Bobby. So I produce as well, but I got a lot of friends of mine, like even my son, his friends. I got a lot of friends of mine who produce, and a lot of them are really, really, really great. But a lot of them are afraid to submit any tracks to anybody because they feel like they're gonna get a raw deal. They feel like they're gonna get their tracks taken away from them or stolen, or what? How do you determine who you can trust, who you not trust?
Well, I'm not sure exactly how would you say. I mean, I don't understand really the question as far as like.
People are afraid to let go of what their creations because they're like, oh, if I.
Well, I mean, I don't know if anybody send me a track. If I like it, I like it. If I don't, I'm honest. I tell them I don't.
Right.
I turn down so much; it's ridiculous. If I took everything, I mean, I'd have no credibility. So,
Right.
credibility is more important to me than money.
Right.
You got any money?
Yeah. Lefty, give him your cool.
How much am I getting paid for this?
Right. Lefty guy, you know.
Yeah. But wow.
Go ahead, shoot.
Just so much.
You wanted to ask some of the artists I work at. One is I work with Chaka Khan. Okay, well, as long as we're going to talk about, I'll talk about an experience I had.
Well, yeah, I was okay because
so,
there was a few things until now. Okay,
I
good.
promoted Prince. And one day I get a call. I did the second Prince album. Just As Long As We're Together was on the first album. I came along for I Want to Be a Lover. And
I love that's a great album.
Oh, it was great. This is after Ray was already gone.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know when that was exactly.
I think that album was like 1979, man.
I think it was a little
earlier
afterwards because Ray wasn't. They didn't call Ray, so they called me. So
yeah. So
right you know, this is Controversy Days. I Want to Be a Lover, and that kind of. So I get a call from Tom Draper, the head of the Black Music Division. At that time, it was called the Rhythm and Blues Department, not the Urban Department. You know, pre politically correct. And he said, Prince is coming to New York. Oh, this is also when Nasty Girls out. Prince is coming to New York, and we'd like you to take him to Paradise Garage. Can you arrange that? Okay. So I lived in a studio apartment, 200 West 16th Street at the time. I had they had a limousine. You know, of course, I arranged it with Larry. And Prince, I got picked up by a limousine. Here I am living in a studio apartment. There's the picture, by the way. Yeah. This was taken at the bottom line, that picture. That's a defunct place on West 4th Street. Prince had performed, did a show there. But that's from left to right. It's, let's see. That's Lynn Creighton Thomas, publicity for Warner's. Andre Simone, that's Prince's guitar player. Prince, then Jackie Thomas, who was the Rhythm and Blues regional rep for Warner's. Alberta Rhodes is Warner Brothers publicity, and yours truly with the mustache. So we went to the club. They picked me up in a limousine. It was Steve Fognoli, Prince's manager, bodyguard, Prince, and Vanity.
Wow.
Prince did not even say a word to me. I don't know if he was shy or what, but just didn't say a word to me. Get to the club. If you knew the Paradise Garage, there was a booth to the right when you had to go up a flight of stairs.
Right.
It overlooked the dance floor, the booth, and then there was a section for the visitors, guests, which was to the left of Larry, but it was separated. There was a coat room there. So anyway, I brought them over to introduce them to Larry, and all's good. And then we go to the visitor section. I'd say we were there at least an hour. And like I said, Prince did not say one word to me. Everything was through Steve Fognoli. It was like Prince spoke another language and Steve was interpreting it.
Wow.
So we're there about an hour, and Larry didn't play any Prince. And like, I'm freaking dying. I'm like, this is so embarrassing. And then Steve Fognoli says, Prince wants to go. I like, oh no, Lord have mercy. I feel so bad. Larry didn't play any of his records.
About what time of night was this?
It had to be
early
probably
or
like
later?
1 a.m. I'm guessing. I don't recall.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, it was crowded, the club. So I go over to Larry and I said, we're leaving. No, you're not leaving. I said, Prince wants, no, you can't leave.
Mm-hmm.
And he played about an hour of Prince after that.
Wow, look at that.
Wow.
But I'm gathering, and of course I never asked Larry this, but knowing Larry, from what I did, and he probably wanted Prince to see how he played. I'm guessing. So we stayed till, we stayed, and then, that was it. But, it was, that was Thelma Houston. I just saw that picture go by.
Yeah, you saw that. Yeah, I sent that.
That's Thelma Houston. Took her to meet Larry. That was John Brown. John Brown probably took her. John Brown is the tall guy to the back of Judy Weinstein, far right. Mike Halley, the Warner Brother, the MCA rep, a rhythm and blues rep, Larry, and myself. I was taken in the booth at the garage. And I think we are working. I'd rather know somebody like you than I'd rather love to be somebody like you than. I forget the title. It's a long ass title. I know that.
I know, yeah.
And that was taken. But going back to the Prince thing, so obviously they were very happy that Larry played, but it was embarrassing to me. But it turned out okay. But I met that was that and the bottom line were the 2 times I met Prince, and
Yeah.
obviously the second time was a little bit different. It was just me, him, and that little crew there. But nonetheless, he didn't say nice meeting you. Nothing.
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 So you don't even know if he liked the fact that he was there. Yeah, played an hour's play.
Well, I'm sure he did. Who wouldn't? What
Yeah.
artist wouldn't?
Yeah.
I mean, especially with that age. I mean, he was so young.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, what, 20?
Yeah,
I don't
he
even know if he
was.
was 21 yet.
And it's true. He produced that whole album, right? He played
That
it,
I don't know, but
Not that
probably
he
yes.
produced. He played almost. I believe it was every instrument. Or
Oh yeah,
something.
probably yes.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know that for a fact. You'd have to
Mhm.
do research. I don't know.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, so
Amazing.
like I said with the Madonna thing, I look back on certain things, and obviously 40 years later, it has a big different impact on me than it did back then. And look, the legacy of Prince will always live on. And a couple of years ago, it was about 2 years ago, they were doing a Prince Michael Jackson tribute in what was that park in Brooklyn? Big park in Brooklyn. Why can't I think?
Prospect Park?
No, not Prospect Park. It was it's right by the Academy, Brooklyn Academy of Music. Oh my God, I can't think of the name.
What is that park down by
Up the Commodore Barry.
No.
They have
down by Flatbush, down by Fort Greene?
Yes, Fort Greene. It was right by Fort Greene.
Yeah, right by Fort Greene. Yeah,
But anyhow, so
I forgot the name of it.
yeah, I forgot.
Yeah.
my hair looks grayer than it really is. Well, I should have dyed it. I should have worn a baseball cap. I never wear a baseball cap, actually. So DJ Spinner was playing, and I went to the backstage to try to get in because I wasn't on it. I was actually in a record store. I was at A1 Records, and the guy says, "Are you going to so-and-so park today to go see Michael Jackson, Prince?" Like, I knew nothing about it. And I ran home and dropped the records off, and we could talk about that afterwards. You're showing things that we're not talking about.
No, it's not being shown. It's right.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So we didn't show the Prince picture.
Yeah, we did.
Okay. So anyhow, so I go to the backstage entrance, and I said, "Is there any way I can get in? I know DJ Spinner." And the guy says, "No." And I said, "Oh." I said, "Well, what if I told you I'm probably the only person amongst these thousands of people?
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever hear of the Paradise Garage?"
Mm-hmm.
And the guy said, "Come on, of course." And I said, "How would you know? What would you?" And I rarely ever use, quote, any power that I've ever done. But I said, what do you know? I bet you I'm the only person here who ever took Prince to meet Larry Levan. He looks at me and he goes, "What?"
That's amazing.
And then I showed him a picture of Prince, that picture of Prince and I. And he said, "All right, hold on 1 second, okay? Just bear with me." And then Nelson George, I don't know if you know who Nelson George is.
Nelson George wrote the articles in Billboard.
Right,
magazine.
he was the urban black
R&B.
R&B writer. Sees me and goes to see, "You let that guy in immediately."
That's awesome.
So
There's some juice, man. That's awesome. So I know that you're
so yeah, I
seeing the
used
photos.
it. I used that Prince thing as a leverage to get in.
Yeah.
So and so much, and I love this. So we're on the pictures now, and so I don't know what you got over there, but so I got it in my files, and I'm just pulling them up.
Just name one.
Oh, okay, so I love these. So you got to tell us about this, man. Here you are. You got it in there. Pull it up. The one with Elton.
I should send you a picture of something while we're here.
Okay, so do that. Can we talk about this one though?
You can talk about anything you want. That's why I'm here.
So
I'm open.
So this one here, you are like in cahoots with Sir Elton John.
That's right.
Amazing.
That's right.
So come on, bring it. Tell us about that. Elton John,
Hold
man. You saw it, right? You saw
Yeah, I'm looking at it right here.
Isn't that amazing?
I got to send you this other picture. Hold
Yep.
on a second.
No nudies, right?
No, but it's an ex-porno star.
Oh, snap. Oh,
Are you
Lefty?
serious?
I'm going to send a picture now.
Come on, man. Oh man.
One of the nicest girls you'll ever meet.
Uh,
You know who that is?
I saw that, but I didn't. Do you know what it would look like? What's her name? No doubt.
No, it's not. Let me see. How do I do this? Wait a minute.
Airdrop it to me. My phone.
Hold on a second.
I'll
I
put
think
it
I
on the
can do
monitor.
that. Anyhow, so
I know this guy too next to Elton, but anyway, tell us about.
that's Bill Coleman.
Bill Coleman. Oh my God.
Uh-huh.
Long time. I remember Bill.
Can't I do that? Anyhow, so
Mm-hmm.
when I worked at MCA, Elton John used to be on MCA Records when he
Right.
started.
Right.
And then he went to Geffen.
Mm-hmm.
And then he came back to MCA Records. And his first record with MCA was I Don't Want to Go On With You Like That.
And you were VP at the time? Or
No.
No? Okay.
No, not yet.
Promotion.
Yes. Okay, hold on a second. Let me send this. What's your email address?
Mine.
Yeah.
The LEFT.
Uh-huh.
Didn't come up. In caps.
Oh, LEFT.
LEFTDJ.
Why did it come up? At?
No, the 145 before the at. 145.
Uh-huh.
At our good old AOL.
And you are
Yeah,
really
he's old school.
Yeah, yeah.
Old school. That's Yabba Dabba
Okay,
Doo school.
should be in your box.
Okay, cool.
So anyhow, I hired Shep Pettibone to do the mix. And I Don't Want to Go On With You Like That.
Well,
And the record went top 10 on the Billboard Dance Club Play chart. 7, I believe it peaked at. And Elton was so thrilled that he had a record in the top 10 on the dance chart.
right.
And I don't know, he took to me. He embraced me. I don't know why. To this day, I don't know why. But I mean, when you hear this, you're not going to believe this. But so I went to Chicago for one of his shows. And there's 2 really good stories. 3, really. I went to Chicago for one of his shows. And I was told, I didn't go on my own. MCA sent me to accompany Elton. And I stayed in this beautiful hotel with Elton and had dinner with Elton. And then we were going to the show. It was about, I'd say, probably 20 miles away. And here I was, the dance guy, and I was also the radio guy, but I was the dance guy. So we took a helicopter. We had to go down to the naval pier to get the helicopter. And we get there, and there was a VP. This guy's name was Harold Solman. He was the VP of marketing and sales. And we get that, and like I said, I was the dance guy and the radio guy, but Harold Solman was the vice president. And we get there, and the helicopter's there, and there was only room for 2 people.
Oh.
And Elton says to the VP of sales, Harold, I'm really sorry. Bobby's with me.
Oh my good. That is so.
So Elton John and I took a
That's a
helicopter
great-
together to the gig.
That's a great story.
It's crazy.
Man. That's memorable. Oh,
And I was
man.
such a fan.
Yeah.
So for me to be standing on stage when Elton John is performing, I can't tell you how that felt.
I can only imagine.
Yeah, that is so great.
It blew my, when like I said, of course, then I appreciate it, but when I look back now, it's like, holy shit.
Beep beep beep
Oh,
beep.
yeah, I'm sorry.
Holy! I should have heard. I should have saw that coming. Right? Holy beep.
And then another time, he, I don't know if you might. I don't know if you remember this guy named Gary Hart. He was running for president of the Democrats.
Democrat,
and
Gary
he had a
Hart.
big scandal with this
Was
girl
it
named Donna Rice.
Massachusetts was it? No.
No, Gary Hart was from Colorado, I believe.
Right.
And he had a big scandal because he got caught with this girl named Donna Rice on a boat.
Right. I remember the scandal.
And he had to drop out. Well, Elton was going to Florida. And like I said, I, to this day, don't know why, but MCA Records sent me with him. And we stayed in this resort. We rented, it was Elton John, John Reed, his manager, again, a bodyguard. And Elton had 3 fans in Boston, these 3 boys. They came too, and that was the group, and we got the boat that Gary Hart was caught. And spent a couple of days with Elton there. And like I said, it's just mind-boggling to me.
You kind of look like John Ritter there.
You think so?
Yeah, Three's Company. Look at you.
Okay.
Which one is that? The same one with Ellen?
Yeah.
Yeah. Really? Okay. I'm just bouncing around because he's got so many great pictures. But still, I mean, that's just the point, right? So only here on the Mix Lab, right? So yeah, we're here at the Mix Lab. Our Tuesday show. Your host Jason Rios. I'm Lefty Hernandez. sitting with the amazing Bobby Shaw.
And then another time, I mean,
yeah,
I'm going to interrupt you here.
No, that's good. I love. Yeah,
I'm going to interrupt you.
But only here.
I'll tell you what really was a rush for me. Was it really that he dedicated a song on Madison Square Garden to me?
Oh, look at that!
Sure.
You see,
Seriously,
that's amazing, and
that was like amazing.
That's the stuff. This is what I'm talking about, right? So this is what makes a show like us, a good show, great, man. Because
how many people could say this?
That's what I'm talking about, man. I mean, not only is he hanging out with Elton John, we got the proof, we got the photo to prove it, and he's in a helicopter with him, and he's on a yacht with him too.
That's one thing I do have on Twitch is that I have the photos. Nobody else has photos.
And let everybody once again know they can catch you on Twitch. Once a week, every Saturday, right?
Correct.
Eastern time at 1
I mean,
o'clock.
you have such amazing DJs like David Morales and Roger Sanchez when he does play. He hasn't played in a while, but there's just so many great DJs. Some really noteworthy ones. Francois K used to be on the Mixcloud now.
Yeah.
Juan Rios is amazing, you know.
Yeah.
But they don't have the pictures.
Right, that's right.
I don't have the DJ credibility they have, but they don't have the pictures.
They don't have. That's right. And you know what?
I have the proof in the pudding.
Let's talk
Look,
about.
I got a picture, but it's of you and Elton.
Let's go to. So
that is not for sale.
We did the Prince. I like this one. So this one is. Tell us about this one, and we'll get these up, and I know that we had some technical.
I believe this was taken.
Tell us what is it? What we're looking at?
Okay, so it's Bobby Shaw, our late Phil Dickerson, who's another great DJ, Frankie Knuckles, and Boy George.
That is correct.
All right, okay, I got that.
I believe this was taken at DMC in London. There was a DMC contest, and I was one of the judges. I'm thinking that's where it might have been taken that weekend. I'm not sure where, but I'm pretty sure it was that weekend.
That's awesome.
That was amazing. Well, Frankie was a personal friend, and Phil was a personal friend. Obviously, Boy George was not a personal friend.
Yeah, but he was hanging out.
Well, look how young we all were.
Yeah,
we were babies.
That is a great shot.
He was a real boy then.
Yeah. And we'll talk about this picture, and then we'll talk about something else. So here in New York,
but I got to work a lot of Frankie records. So I just did a Twitch tribute, 4-hour stream for Frankie's 70th birthday on January 18th.
He was an amazing DJ.
Yeah, an amazing person.
Yeah,
and Phil Dickerson was great. I always think of Phil. It's funny we think about certain things with people. Well, first of all, I used to call him Philip Cheesecake.
Right,
due to his size, I will say.
I remember Phil.
But during the height of the Winter Music Conference, Nervous Records always had a breakfast at Denny's on a Sunday morning, like at 5 a.m. when the clubs closed. And we always joked that Phil was the first in line, waiting for that free food. So, talking Philip Dickerson, may he rest in peace. What a great man.
And being with Frankie, you guys from here in New York, right? You knew Frankie from New York here.
I knew
right?
Frankie from Chicago, actually, from the old days.
Oh, really? So
I knew Frankie from the warehouse and power plant.
Oh, okay, because he was always like here in New York, and he was at the garage.
Well,
right?
Well, Frankie wasn't really a garage. I mean, he was there, but he wasn't.
But the thing was that he realized, though, that I guess I think from what I understand that a lot of DJs in New York, and just so he took he just went to Chicago and started.
Well, we were all family.
Yeah.
In those days, everybody belonged to For the Record. A lot of people belonged to For the Record or IDRC. So it's a different camaraderie then. And again, there was no internet. There was no cell phones taking pictures. Yep. There was no downloading. There was record stores. It was a whole different era.
Or rotary phones.
It was a whole different camaraderie with the DJs than it is now.
Right. So you would go out to Chicago a lot and go to the warehouse out there.
Well, amongst other things, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Amazing. I'd go to Chicago and I had some friends out there, and I never got to go to the warehouse, but
I was blessed to have, and power plant too.
Yeah, awesome. So we were talking before about being at Warner Brother Records, and then we talked about you going to MCA, and a lot happened at MCA. But it's also time. So this is another thing too, because I remember at MCA being the early to mid '80s. Music was also changing a little bit, and there was a lot. Did you work a lot more pop? Even though there were dance tracks that crossed over, on the pop side, and because for example, like a movie like of course Beverly Hills Cop, right? So the big song was Axel F, right? Was that one of the records that you worked?
Well, in that particular case, and it's an odd story, a funny story, kind of. We had a double-sided 12-inch. It was Patti LaBelle, New Attitude on one side, and Axel F was on the other side.
Yeah, I got
Harold
that.
Faltermeyer.
Yeah.
Now, I happened to be the radio promoter at the time. Besides the dance person, I was the pop and rock radio for the New York area. So I went to WPLJ. The girl's name was Lisa Tonacci. She was the music director. Larry Berger was the PD. And we were working New Attitude. And I said to her, there's really a great track on the B-side that is so freaking great called Axel F. And they went out on a limb and played it and started playing it. Now, I work for the pop department.
Prop?
The pop department.
Oh, pop department, okay.
Now, we are on a conference call, and I got reamed that WPLJ was not playing New Attitude, but playing the other song.
Oh, snap.
I literally, in front of the entire staff, I got killed.
Wow. Yeah, I could see that.
Let me tell you something. 3 or 4 months later, when Axel F went to 3 on the Billboard Hot 100, they were not screaming at me anymore.
They were like, good job, right?
Yeah.
New Attitude did not go top 10, but Harold Faltermeyer, WPLJ was the first station to play that record. That came out of New York City. They weren't yelling and screaming at me at that point.
And of all stations, PLJ, which was already hard enough as it was
Lisa
in New York radio.
Lisa Tonacci and I got along very well.
Awesome. Yeah.
And she trusted me.
Yeah. And
the song was great. How can you go wrong?
It was a great song.
Dun. Come on,
It
man.
is. It was a great club song.
I mean, you have to have cotton ears if you can't hear that.
Yeah, I used to spin at roller rinks, and that was wonderful for that. It was great.
You still hear it.
Yeah. The flip side,
it's legendary. Then I love Patti LaBelle. Don't get me wrong, but let's face it, Axel F lives on. I don't know about New Attitude.
Well, it was because
and
of
they
the
got
movie.
they got a part 2 that just came out too, right?
That I don't know.
Axel Foley, yeah.
Yeah, the movie.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, that's what I heard.
Yeah.
It's still playing.
I actually just saw
They're
that.
probably using it.
Yeah, they are.
They are.
Yeah, and smart people.
Yep. I saw the.
And it's 40 years ago.
Wow,
yeah,
that long ago already. Wow.
Yeah. I actually saw
It's
the
about
movie
that,
the other
yeah.
night. Beverly Hills Cop. I just saw it the other night again, and I saw the part 2 about 2 months ago, and yeah, they did use that. But of course, Patti LaBelle, New Attitude. The reason it was such a big deal was because it was one of the tracks on the soundtrack, and of course they were pumping going after the movie stuff, man. So you're at MCA and all these great. Let's talk about something that happened while you were at MCA. We were talking about it in the car. And Jason, get this, bro. This is unusual, and a lot of people don't know it. I remember reading this, and I actually got it mixed up with something else. But the fact that this man right here did his work so well, he was such a good promoter.
Well, it really had nothing to do with the promotion, because I know what you're going to talk about.
It didn't have nothing to do with the promotions. And
No.
all right, so then tell us how it happened.
Okay.
All right, so I'm
You're talking
getting,
about the car. I'm
Yep,
presuming.
we're talking
Okay.
about the car. So
Okay, there was an organization based out of Washington, D.C. called Active Industry Research. The initials were AIR, was called AIR. They had a, I can't say really a contest, but I guess that's the best way of putting it. They had a thing where they chose, well, they didn't really choose 5 records. Let's say I'm working at Warner's and I'm working, let's say, Chaka Khan Clouds, let's say. Warner's would pay Air to send that music, to put it on their 5 records of the week, and people would judge from the radio industry whether they thought the record was going to go top 25 on the on the radio and records pop chart, top 40 on the radio and records pop chart, or not make it at all. And you got points based on accuracy and how fast you got your entries in. Anyhow, so this went on for 26 weeks. There was 130 records, 5 records each week from all different record labels, and it was geared towards the radio people. Now, look, it was in a weird way, it could have been looked at payola, because if a radio programmer said it was going to go top 25, you know they're going to play the hell out of that record,
Right.
just so they get the right amount of points.
Right.
It was kind of an incentive, and it was a way to get radio people to listen to the record. And look, they could say they're not going to go top 25 and never play it. It could be used conversely. Anyhow, so that was a 26-week contest, and the winner got a Porsche. So I entered it. I'm going to do this. So every week, first of all, the radio people were getting the 5 records sent to them. I was not getting the 5 records sent to me. So I was trying to find the records. You couldn't go on the internet those days. That wasn't
That's
like
right.
that. I was calling the record company reps, like I'd call the A&M rep. Hey, is this record a priority for you? Because I knew if it wasn't a priority, it wasn't going. And I did research on the record. Every week I was calling. So the first time I came in 49th place. Okay. Obviously I didn't win. Second time, I didn't know how I was doing in comparison to the competition. So the second time I get a call from my boss. Now the car was given out at a convention called the Bobby Poe Convention in Virginia. I get a call from my boss. He goes, Bobby, take a seat. I got to tell you something. I said, what are you going to tell me? I won the car? He goes, who told you?
Oh, serious?
May my mom rest in peace.
Oh,
May my
nice.
mother and dad rest in peace.
Bro,
I literally said that. What are you going to tell me? I won the car. He goes, who told you?
Is it outside right now?
No, this is in the 80s.
Oh, you know what? We got the picture. Don't we have the picture in there?
I have the
think
picture of me winning.
There it is. There. So it says here, Air congratulates the best ears in the business, and it shows you.
And he didn't win. He won the second prize.
Okay, and
He didn't get a car.
And he was from a radio station.
Correct.
Okay.
So I was the first person ever to win from a record company.
Did you see the picture? It's like a newspaper article.
Oh, yeah, I got that.
Yep.
I'll get it up in a second.
Okay, so that's on the thing now? People can see it?
Yeah.
No, hold on. Give me a second.
Yeah.
I have them labeled.
I'll show it to you. Keep going.
Yeah, I got to go down. It's got to be right. Oh.
I should have just, told you
So
what it's called.
when I got the car,
it just says Bobby Shaw.
I didn't know how to drive a stick shift. And it was in Virginia. And I lived in New York City.
Wow.
That's it.
Wait, so the car was in Virginia? Where?
Yeah, I got it in Virginia. They gave me the keys. I had to go on stage.
Is that a mugshot?
No.
That's a great shot.
Yeah.
So
it is.
He was so young.
they
right?
they brought me on stage and they gave me the keys, and a lot of people didn't know who I was, but every freaking radio person knew who I was after that. So anyhow, I was the first person from a record company ever to win.
Wow.
Now I say it's the best ears in the business.
Yeah, because I won the accuracy in predicting how 130 records were going to do.
Yes,
Right.
unbelievable.
I beat all the radio people
That's amazing.
who were getting the records. I
Right.
wasn't getting the records. I was trying to find them and listen to them.
Mm-hmm.
I'd go to the store and buy them, and I found every which way to know what I was doing.
Yeah.
But I would also call the record company people to see if it was a priority.
Right.
And so
Go ahead.
after I won, some of the radio, I don't know if it was one, I don't know how many, but they complained that it wasn't fair that I won. And they never,
you worked in the station.
because I wasn't in the radio. The contest was geared,
It was geared
for the radio people to listen to the records, not a record promoter. And after that, they never allowed a record company person ever to participate ever again.
Wow.
amazing.
Wow.
But
Is that
I have
something?
944, and like after that, the next contest, there was a guy in Tampa who used to call me and ask me what I thought of certain records, who was trying to win the Porsche.
Yeah. So it was a 944
944 sunroof.
Porsche.
Sunroof. I got one red. I got one
red?
ticket. I was going home. My parents lived upstate New York during the summer. I was going home. Actually, I was up there. I think my parents are still up there, And I was coming home the day of the Super Bowl, and I was going down Route 86, and they said I was going 75. I know I wasn't.
So, but you said you brought it up from Virginia, but you said you didn't.
Well,
drive
no. What
straight.
happened was, so my friend Steve Stoff, who worked at RCA
remember
Records at the
Steve.
time,
Good old Steve.
he took me to a parking lot and taught me how to drive on a stick shift in a parking lot. I was practicing. And then my boss, Steve Meyer, who lived in L.A., changed his plane ticket and decided not to fly out of D.C., and he flew out of New York so he would drive back with me to make sure I made it safe with the car.
How old were you then?
I was in my low 30s. I was around 30.
That's a good time to have a Porsche.
Amazing. Yeah, no, and it was. You know what, dude? It's the 80s.
Thank God he wasn't 18 or 20.
The music.
He would have had about 1,000 tickets.
It was all about style, man, and and it was a Porsche, a 944 Porsche, and in red, no less. Are you kidding me?
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't pay one penny, didn't pay taxes, nothing.
Wow.
And then MCA paid for the garage spot. They paid for everything.
That's so you were telling me, right? MCA was so happy to have the guy.
Well, it was prestigious for them to have the guy that won the air contest on their promo staff.
That's amazing. Yeah. We got him. He's ours, right? Look, just want you to say so. We were talking about RFC earlier, so he's listening. So say hi to Ray. Ray's out there.
Are you serious?
Yeah, he's like, look there. Hey, right, Ray, where are you, Ray? I know, there you go, Ray. And I said hi to him.
Hey, Ray, I hope you heard the plaudits I was giving you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ray Caviano. He's out there and just amazing people. That's what we got. Great talent here. So you're listening to the Mix Lab. We've got Bobby Shaw live right here with us. Jason Rios, your host. I'm Lefty Hernandez. Every Tuesday from 6 to 8. We're bringing him back. You know that, right?
And the show will be preview tomorrow. Tomorrow we will have it up and live.
Yeah, and we're gonna add all the photos and all that good stuff. So all right. So we're in the 80s. MCA is happening. All these great hits. You are so all this, and you were still just a promotion guy at MCA. You were saying you were radio.
Well, one day, look, I told you I had great records. I told you if I screwed them up, I wouldn't have had a job. But just like I said, Juggy told me, make sure you don't make a good record bad.
Right.
And that was always, how I, to this day, I mean, he's right.
Now,
right.
We have a couple of records here that you sent us.
Oh yeah, we got that. We're gonna move on that too. So, but as the what I'm getting at is that you became VP at MCA. That's what you were asking before, right, Jason?
Right.
So how did that happen?
So one day, Richard Palmisi, who was the head of promotion, calls me and says, Al Teller and I want to take you out to dinner. Al Teller was the president of MCA Records. Well, we want to take you out. They lived in L.A., but they're going to be in New York. They'd like to take me out to dinner. Like, okay.
Sure.
So we get in the limousine.
Good for a hearty meal.
We get in the limousine, and Al Teller says, can you call your parents? And I called my parents, and I said, I want to tell you, we just made your son a VP.
Get out of here, son.
Babe, I can't make this story up.
Yeah, he was VP.
Now I'm saying just like that. Just call your parents.
Can you call your parents? I want to talk to them
from the limo.
From the limo. That's how it happened.
And back then we didn't have the cell phones either. There was the phone in the.
Well, we didn't. I don't recall, but
this was in the 80s or 90s.
No, I'd say somewhere
somewhere
around 90. I'm guessing.
Yeah, but they were just.
No,
like
I remember the big. I remember. I know. Yeah, it was an attaché
military,
case.
Military phone.
Yeah.
I don't recall.
And it was VP of dance promotions. What was it? VP
of dance music promotion and marketing
at MCA Records. Yeah,
that's right.
That's sweet.
It was. I was the only one in the business.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I was. What can I say? I got them a lot of #1 records. They had great records. I mean, any dummy could have done it. I'm telling you,
it was all about.
I just
timing.
happened to be right place, right time.
But you also mentioned the fact earlier that one of the things and one of the success of all this is the fact that you loved going to the clubs and
it's my life
and networking with the DJs and bringing them the new music. If you weren't bringing it to them,
I love
you
to
were
go dancing,
man,
you
were listening to. There you go. And so
my mom and I used to go record shopping when I was 5 years old.
Wow.
So it goes back.
It does go back because that's the only way I had. When I got my first records, it was because my mom. I was with her. We go to Maze and they had that record store upstairs.
I think though we should retract to Warner's for one, and I'm not bragging here, but there was one record that kind of like, I don't know, put not a stamp of approval on me, but gained me a little bit of notoriety. And that was Laid Back White Horse.
Oh, we were Jason. So the last few days we've been talking, right? And one of the things that I've learned was we were talking
Yeah,
about
you didn't know
music.
this at lunch.
No,
When we had lunch, you didn't know.
no, I didn't know. So we had lunch, and so he told me we were talking about music, and he told me about what he's about to tell us right now. So tell us about. So the group is Laid Back. The song is White Horse for all you DJs. You're right, all you real DJs. All right, you know the record, you know the song.
Like I
tell
said,
us about White Horse.
I said, I worked for Warner's Sire, and Seymour Stein calls me in his office, and he said, I want you to meet Michael Rido. Michael Rido owns a record label in Denmark, and he's trying to get us to sign this record called Laid Back, this group. Here's a copy of the album. Can you do me a favor and listen to it? So, no problem. Listen to it. And I said, Seymour, there's a track on here called White Horse. If it was mixed right, it could be such a big club record. So he said, well, who do you want to do it? And I said, well, how about me? He said, it's a done deal. So obviously I knew nothing about studio. I didn't, I used to watch people, but I don't know anything about it. So I hired a guy named John Patoka, who was the engineer. And we went into the studio and we did edits on the record. And I was telling him, I want this part here, I want this part here. And he didn't say a word of what was going to be done. It was me. But he would take the record and we'd splice it up, and we had a wall full of tapes and all different parts, and then we put it together just like I said, and the record became a monster. I mean, even the Village Voice wrote an article about it and me, and I couldn't believe this was happening. This is crazy.
Unbelievable.
But the record to this day gets played. It's kind of a classic record,
a great
and
song. I just played it.
And it's there have been remakes of it that have been dreadful.
Right.
But I always feel like, wow, this is almost like an honor for me that they're doing a remake of White Horse. Like, it's that big.
That special edit.
But
right
the part that went ding 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 ding.
Yeah.
I mean, that was my idea. I have to say so.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
So
he told me
that
about
record really made was huge.
I didn't know
that. Still
that.
is getting played. I mean, I don't know.
I didn't know
it's
that.
classic.
Yeah, and the things, and you
I'm proud of it.
we're still learning, right? We still learn today. I did
Absolutely.
not know all the years of playing.
I'm going to the studio with his son's record in a minute.
There you go.
You see? There you go.
You never know. You never know.
You never know, and that's how And speaking of that, so I mean, I always I told you this the other day. I really like. So we're so passionate about this. Jason and I were always talking about these things that, this business, the music, how do we keep it alive? How do we reinvent this? How do we really make it, they just had the Grammys on the other day. I don't think I knew half the names that
Well, let's face it, that's all political, and you know that.
But it's also,
I mean, whatever happened to soulful house music? Isn't that like dance music? You never see a soulful house record ever really get nominated in the dance category.
No, you don't. And you know what? And it's far in between. Louis Vega.
Some people seem to have forgotten the roots of dance music.
Yeah. Well,
right.
we're lucky we got Louis Vega has gotten nominated. We had Black Coffee.
Right.
But
True.
Yeah, but still it's been a challenge. It's been a long time.
You never see a house record get nominated for Song of the Year.
No,
never.
You never.
A real soulful house record.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? Speaking of
right.
speaking of some of the tracks, you have one in here that I played that I loaded here for the show was Anaya Day.
I mean, I'm a dance music promoter, and I don't know some of those tracks.
Right.
And I feel like I'm on top of things.
But,
I never even heard of some of those things.
But Bobby, the Grammys also mentioned the fact that they have some category because it was all about what is that? It had to do with the streamings, and all that's not wasn't streaming. It was just the fact that viewers.
Look,
and
if Beyonce sang "Hi Diddle Diddle," she'd have 20 million streams.
Well,
Does that make it a good record?
Right. Well,
and I'm not singling her out. I'm just using her as an example.
Didn't she get the
Bruce Springsteen
country #1 country album?
She did. God bless her.
No. All right. So
good for her. I'm glad. Look, I'm glad she won Album of the Year. Some of her past albums maybe should have won.
Yeah.
So maybe this is maybe she was overdue.
Yeah.
Look, let's face it, Beyonce has given the music business
a lot,
and a lot of us so many great songs and great times. So
she had that house.
I'm
album.
happy she's home with 2 Grammys.
The previous album, right? The house album. There's some good house tracks on that too. So we're playing a track. Jason is playing a track in the background. Tell us about this song we're playing right here.
I got to hear the vocals on it.
Yeah. Is this Anaya?
Yeah.
Yeah. Really.
Oh, this is a song that Mike Cruz and Anaya Day did together called Inside Out.
Yep.
Anaya and Mike go way, way back together. And Mike did this and got it signed. I told them to, Anaya knew DJ Spen anyway, so wouldn't have made a difference what I told them. So, but DJ Spen signed the record on Quantize, and we put it out.
On Quantize.
It did pretty good. Could have done better, but it did pretty good.
But it's stuff that you've worked, and so
Well, I just recently worked this. This is kind of the last year.
And we were talking about the fact that today the contemporary music and how you're promoting that, and I just got your list too, and I saw there was a lot of songs on there, a lot of great
That you might not know.
right that I might not know.
And you're not on my email list. I know that.
No, I'll be on it tonight. Don't worry.
You will be.
I'll be on it tonight.
Yeah. Listen, Jason, I say it all the time. He's a monster. He gets, he gets music. He wastes no time. He gets in there.
I love his shirt.
Yeah. What's today? I missed it.
What are you?
Oh,
what are you blind?
back
There
to
you
the
go.
beats.
Back to
Oh, no,
no, back to the roots.
Back to the roots.
Back to the roots. There
That's
you go.
right.
But he's always mixing, remixing. He's always, he's a monster. He plays music and he rocks hard. So definitely the stuff that you
Even if this interview doesn't get on the air, I'm glad I met you.
No, it's on
I'm
the
glad
air.
I
It's
met
definitely
you.
be on.
it's gonna be
It's
on.
definitely gonna be
It's
on.
definitely gonna be on. Yeah,
That's why I recorded everything today.
and we're bringing him back. We're definitely,
definitely.
What do you mean
definitely
you're bringing him back?
We're bringing him back.
We haven't left yet.
Yeah. No, we haven't, but we're definitely guaranteeing the fact that
I like to talk.
So, can you tell us a little bit more about some of these pictures, people that I have pictures here? All right, I'm gonna put one up.
Okay.
Tell us about this young lady here, this amazing young lady here.
Well, I don't even think we never discussed this at lunch, but I promoted. Stephanie Mills was on MCA.
There it is.
After I don't know what she was on. I think she was on RCA before that. That's Tony Smith, who was the DJ at Barefoot Boy, who probably I would not be in this business. He probably introduced me to Ray.
Really?
I would think so. That's myself, Tony Smith, and little Stephanie Mills. Now, for those who don't know,
Little Stephanie Mills.
Stephanie Mills was the original Dorothy in The Wiz on Broadway,
right.
where she made a name for herself. I worked a couple of her records at MCA, and then we had an album. She did a song called Bit by Bit from the Fletch soundtrack. And MCA Records, again, who do you want to mix it? Well, can I do it? So I did Bit by Bit by Stephanie Mills, 136 BPMs, and the record did very well.
Nice.
So I mixed with Stephanie, but I think this picture was taken before that happened. I think
She's an
I don't
amazing vocalist.
recall where it was taken, but Stephanie Mills, nice lady.
She's an amazing vocalist.
Oh my God, what a voice!
What? Let me tell you.
Yeah.
What
That
a
is-
voice!
Yeah.
I mean,
And
I
again,
I should try to find her and do a record with her again because Stephanie Mills is just amazing. I mean,
Can you still? I mean, just something like that, like Stephanie Mills, Patti
well,
LaBelle.
I
just, you know,
can't
like,
I
you know,
can't
certain
mention this because it's not out yet, but I did hook Spen up with somebody. An artist I work with, and she has a record coming out on Quantize, and I'm very excited. I can't wait till it's done.
Nice.
Is it can you say it's a veteran artist or a classic artist?
It's somebody who's had some hits.
Someone we know.
Yes.
All right, perfect, beautiful. So there you go. You heard it first right here. We don't know who it is, but we know that it's definitely coming. It's definitely coming.
It's coming.
So that is.
And you heard it first on WHCR 90.3 FM.
Right, the Mix Lab right here with Jason Rios and
And
Lefty
Lefty
Hernandez.
Hernandez.
Well, if I do come back, hopefully the record will be out by then,
You definitely
definitely.
coming back.
and maybe I can get her to call in.
Yeah, that'll be.
I will say one thing: this artist was very, very kind to me. I got one of her records signed to MCA Records, and a friend of mine passed in Atlanta, a very well-known DJ years ago, and she lives in Atlanta, and she came to the funeral for me and sang "Amazing Grace," and it was just so amazing. It was
I can
just,
imagine.
it was tear-jerking. So there's a reason now for me to come back to tell you who it is.
That's it.
There you go. Yeah, definitely. See, I'm actually
Next trip.
I got to pick his brain. Take him going downtown when we go home tonight. It's like, hey, come on, man. Tell me who it is. Tell me who it is. Come on, man.
I can't because the record's not out yet, and when the record comes out and the whole thing is signed and sealed
Right.
and delivered,
Yeah.
I don't put things like up online. Coming soon is this. When the
Okay.
record's done,
It's done.
it's done. Then I'll put it up.
Right,
But
you
I don't.
You don't.
I don't talk in advance until it's on the dotted. Like if I don't, like I may be like, or somebody's in the midst of me of maybe hiring me for a record. No one is going to know until. I mean, I literally was supposed to get hired for something recently. I had all these great marketing ideas. I said, I ain't telling them anything until they sign the dotted line.
There you go.
And they wound up reneging on the thing, and I'm
You see
glad
that?
I didn't tell
yeah,
them.
Yeah.
You don't put the horse before the carriage.
I certainly do not.
I learned that the hard way.
Yeah. No.
I learned that a long time ago.
Yeah.
Keep your business to yourself.
And you get in this business, you get excited. Like you hear a lot of good news.
Yeah.
You boom boom,
Yeah.
and then like next thing you're like, oh, everybody looks at you like, what happened?
Yep.
Nothing.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
No, I was gonna ask Bobby to tell us about this picture here.
Which one? That Todd Terry?
No, wait.
Oh, Nile Rodgers.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Oh my God.
Funny story.
Elton John, Prince, Nile Rodgers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what to. I told you I was blessed to
He's
be
like,
in the
yeah.
right. I was in the right
No,
place at the right time.
It's wonderful.
And
That's the one thing I loved about being in this business. Back when I felt so blessed as well too, because I say that when I met you, people like you, and it was just for me. I was like, I was awed. It was and you meet a lot of artists.
You know what's the beautiful thing about this whole interview today? That this guy has been around legends, made like amazing people,
yeah, worldwide,
and he's still humble.
Very humble.
Well,
Not a lot of people meet. They look at Michael Jackson's poster.
Let me
and
tell you
and
something.
bragging.
Let me tell you something. When I go take a dump, my blank smells the same thing as everybody else's. Okay.
But I said, well, not to cut you off, and we'll continue with your story. But I said that before, very social. I mean, and a lot of the pictures that we have, and you'll see, he's hanging out. He's having dinner and lunch with the DJs, and the outings. Yeah, it's just.
Look, I always tell you can't get hurt if you're honest.
Right.
That's right.
And that's the most important thing is being honest. And some people can't accept if you don't like their music, but you got to be honest.
Yeah, that's right.
It's you can't get in trouble for being honest. Some people may not like it,
Right.
but you can't get in trouble if you're honest.
Yeah, people can't take constructive criticism. Rather than
Oh, believe me, I know that.
It's like they take it, they get hurt.
Listen, we'll talk about that later. But anyway, so you were telling us about Nile Rodgers.
So Niles, okay. So do you have a picture? I don't know if you have this picture of Diana Ross, Nile, and I.
Oh, not the Diana Ross one.
Want
No,
me to send that to you? Because that's a really interesting. Let me see if I have it here. Yeah. Well, I know I have it.
Oh, and I'm gonna ask him. He's got a couple more great pictures with great people. Yeah.
Okay, where is this?
Oh my goodness! Oh dear Lord, we got to squeeze it all in, man.
Yeah, I'm telling
Listen,
you.
it always flies when you're having fun. We're talking about the time, man. We're gonna petition for a longer show, right?
Because I'm on the wrong site.
Right.
That's why.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Able to get this.
All right, you could send that. Because of the.
Here we go. Oh, there it was.
Well, there's this one with.
Here we go.
With Donna. Mm-hmm.
Okay, what's your? Should come in this time. LEF.
Right. Oh, it.
He's gonna keep it for himself. By the time he sends it to me,
yeah,
and it'll be too late to bring out. It'll be too late to
what's
put
the
on.
thing? What's the email?
So, where are we? FT. DJ.
165, 145?
145, yeah.
At AOL. That's high at AOL.
Now I'm going to get bombarded worldwide, right?
That wouldn't be such a bad thing.
Right. Yeah, look at that. What a great
Okay, can we
shot.
get that on?
Can you share it? So
He's gonna, as soon as
it's sent to him.
All right, until then, tell us about Niles.
Well, the reason I have to tell you this is because we have to show the first. There's a reason.
Oh, okay, I see.
One
okay.
leads to the other.
Okay.
All right, so should we talk about one of these other pictures?
Yeah, until you get it over to me. Because it's gonna be a few
so
minutes.
you got one here with.
So let's skip him for now, and we'll get back to him. Let's talk about this beautiful young lady over here.
The one with the beret.
Well, like I always say, and I'll say it till I freaking go to the grave when I'm 200 something years old.
And I just did a remix of this.
You did? Of which one?
Which one was it?
What are we talking about? Donna Summer.
Yeah.
When Not I Feel Love.
No,
No.
I'll tell you right now.
Oh, he did a great The Last Dance.
Last Dance.
But
Yeah.
he did it in
English and Spanish.
salsa.
Sí.
Yeah, came out pretty good.
Really nice.
¿Cómo se dice last? Baila
Último.
finalmente. No, final.
Last
¿Cómo
Dance.
se dice final?
Último baile.
El último baile.
El último baile, sí.
El último baile.
Y Donna Summer es una hermosa persona.
Una hermosa.
Yeah.
So so we got a picture.
Y tu esposo.
Oh yeah.
Muy simpático.
Yeah, Esposito, right?
No,
I mean, not
no,
Esposito,
no.
I'm sorry.
Bruce Cedeno.
Right, Cedeno.
Pero yo lo amo.
Mucho.
¿Cómo se dice? Both of them.
It hasn't loaded yet.
Okay, so anyhow, is the Donna Summer picture up?
Oh my goodness, you should send it to him. Send it to him direct. I don't know why it didn't load. It hasn't loaded yet.
Okay.
Right. Again, we had ladies and gentlemen, as you know, we came into the
That's
studio.
what your girl told me. You don't know how to load very well.
Oh boy. Oh my God. Yeah.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
I had to go there. Am I going to get bleeped for that?
Doesn't load well. So we had some technical.
What's your email address?
We had some technical issues.
J Rios, JRIOS, Dalian, DALIAN,
GALIAN at
AOL.com. I'm old
Look
school.
at these old school people. Dude.
J Rios, Dalian at AOL.com.
Let's see if it goes through to you faster.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Donna Summer, when I worked at Warner's, we also promoted Geffen, which I said previously. Donna Summer had The Wanderer was a record on Geffen, and because I promoted the Geffen stuff, I promoted The Wanderer. Also I believe we did I don't know if I was gone by then, State of Independence, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, Donna Summer is somebody who, like, I couldn't believe I was meeting Donna Summer. This is like crazy that I'm meeting Donna Summer of all people. Like, oh my God. And, like here I am. I'm salivating, but I try to hold it in, but sometimes you just can't.
Do you know her story?
Well,
I
I
mean,
know.
Is it true what they say? Like in the movie, Thank God It's Friday. She was just a regular girl. She was in a club. They passed her the mic. She got on.
That I don't know.
I always want to know if that was true because everybody says that's how it happened for her.
I don't know.
Oh, with Donna Summer?
Yeah, and I wouldn't believe. I wouldn't be surprised.
I don't know. But anyhow, so I promoted a couple of her records. Years later, when I went independent, I hooked up with Bruce Cedeno and I put together the remix package for, I believe it was Bad Girls. It was Hot Stuff. And Donna Summer did a remix album, and they hired me to do the remixes for them. And I got to see her again. And I reacquainted with Bruce Cedeno, and I promoted a few Donna Summer records afterwards. And unfortunately, she passed. So sad.
She was amazing.
63 years old.
But
I will tell you a good Donna Summer story, which I have related on some other shows. So we were in Connecticut. We were at Foxwood, I believe it was, and she was performing.
Mm-hmm.
I got your attention?
Yeah,
Rios?
I'm trying to download this.
Okay. So we were, and then she's singing Bad Girls. And I looked at Bruce. I can remember it like it was yesterday. Bruce, doesn't she get tired of singing this song? And he said, Bobby, look at the audience. Could you ever get tired of that reaction?
Wow.
That freaking line stuck with me.
You see, yeah. The world of a difference, right? There's just some
How
days.
could you get tired of that when everybody's screaming?
That's right. That's right.
I mean, if you are, then you're not an artist. But I took my family to see her, and she embraced my niece and my nephew and my sister like they were promoting the records. She was so nice to them, and she always remembered my name. And like I said, I still speak to Bruce.
Yeah, she looks
to this day.
You could see she was, from the looks of her, she was a gem.
Mm-hmm.
I got the picture up now.
Yes, I see. Tell me when it's going in there.
It's in. I thought I was on a different screen, but I'm in now.
Okay. So you see that picture? That was taken at an RCA Records party. Now, literally, it was 5 seconds in and out. That was it. It wasn't like I was like.
Sounds like Lefty.
It wasn't like I was hanging out with
Nice.
Diana Ross and Nile Rodgers for all night.
I'm gonna start charging
No.
you guys.
That was a photo op. I asked if I could take the picture, and that was about the extent of the conversation.
Wow.
As opposed to Sade, who I have a picture of, who talked with me. She was great. I never met her.
I love her.
She talked to me. Like, that was like, oh my God, she's actually having a conversation with me instead of like brushing me off. But no, Sade was like, but these two, and we take the picture, and that was about the extent of the conversation.
Unbelievable.
But nonetheless, obviously, a blessed picture to have.
Wow.
I mean, come on. So anyhow, if you want to show the other picture,
Which one?
the other one of Nile.
So
No,
there's another. Yeah, we have another.
Did you
one
show? You showed another one of Nile Rodgers
so
before.
It's
It's not important anyway.
Yeah, it is. It says B. Shaw and then Nile Rodgers. It's in the list.
I have this one here.
There you go.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
so
one.
years later, Tony Moran was working on a track with Nile Rodgers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I don't know if you have to remember that picture. So I went to the studio and I said, Niles, we've met before. He goes, we have? I said, yeah. And I had it on my phone. He says to me, goddamn, I've seen that picture. I always wondered who that guy was with us.
Oh my God.
That is amazing. You see?
Like, who the hell is this
Right,
third
right.
guy with me and Diana?
Yeah. You had no clue.
No
You
clue.
had no clue.
No.
And then you get the picture. Then you get to.
But when I went, I saw Sheik at Forest Hills Tennis Stadium in a couple of last summer or summer before with Duran, and because Kimberly Davis is now singing with Sheik, and I did her solo records. She got me. We were embraced backstage. So when I saw Niles, that time he came and hugged me. He remembered me
Yeah.
when I saw him like a year and a half ago.
Awesome.
And I didn't have to reacquaint myself with him.
And so again.
But again, it was just so funny. I was wondering who that guy was with us.
It's
Oh,
just
God.
again, this show has become popular, and it's been more fun because of these wonderful, factual, stories, I mean, the real McCoy, and you just an array of talent that you've had either worked with or friends with or and all. And in the pictures that we have, we've got so many, and we're coming, of course. To time.
I want to come up to one more picture
Go
of
ahead.
somebody that I really admire, because every time he plays vinyls, 45s, 12 inches, and everything that he plays is all classics. And that's my brother right here,
Who's that?
Danny Kravitz.
I was just gonna say. So yeah,
The
he's
kid,
good.
He is no joke.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
takes it back to the roots.
Right, Danny. He's talking about that one there.
I'm trying to think who's the guy in the middle. Is that
Oh, that's Tony Smith.
Oh, Tony Smith.
Tony Smith. Yeah.
So Danny and I go way back to the TK days. And Danny actually used to love to come up and hang out with me in the mailroom. And we'd smoke marijuana.
His famous word.
And
Smoke
I became
marijuana.
very good friends with Danny. Look, 45 years? We're still great friends. I've known all his girlfriends in the 45 years. I adore his wife.
Right.
I've gone to so many of Danny's parties, and when he got married, I was one of his ushers
Oh, all right.
in the way. That's how close we are. And I respect Danny Cribbett. He has amazing taste in music.
He's a great guy. We got to get him here. Get him here for us.
He
might.
His 718 sessions are amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Amazing.
They are.
yeah.
I know.
21 years running now.
Yep. We got to get
but
him here.
Danny is a very, very close friend of mine. Somebody I have a lot of admiration for.
Humble guy too, right?
I love his wife. She's a great recording artist. Her name is AK. She's huge in Japan. I promoted. Well,
Wow.
I did it as a favor. I didn't get paid. I promoted a couple of her records for free because she's a friend of mine.
That's awesome, though.
And Danny, that's Danny, Tony, and I. Danny, Tony, and I used to go out to dinners together, and God, I miss Tony Smith. He's such a great guy.
Yeah,
but
yeah, he was.
The three of us were like a little trio of friends for I knew them all. We were all together from the late 70s.
Yeah.
Right.
The three of us.
But I've seen you in pictures with Jelly Bean. I've seen you with so many DJs. And I
Well,
mean,
Jelly
and,
Bean, I know for when he started.
Yeah.
Kind of.
But just the point that again, like Danny Krivik,
Jelly Bean, I
Tony Smith.
I try to speak to Jelly Bean once a week when he returns calls.
Yeah.
He's not the greatest in returning calls.
But here,
It sounds like somebody I know.
Oh,
really?
stop it! I call you all the time, and you. Oh my God! Yeah,
But,
you know
yeah.
what?
But
your Jeep is outside, right?
No, no.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I got my Porsche outside.
Yeah, right.
Like I said, I'm in the music business, and I kiss the ground I walk on every day. That I'm still in it, and I've
There you
been
go.
so lucky, and the opportunities that I've had are amazing, and I look forward to tomorrow's opportunities.
And
That's
yeah,
awesome. I just got to say, Bobby, that we had a lot of guests here, a lot of great people that came through here, and I got to admit, man, I see you got a good heart, man. You got a good soul, and I love the fact that you started from the very beginning, from the very bottom. You worked your way up. And you're still as humble. I mean, you're.
Well, like I said, my SS.
Amazing, man.
I go to the bathroom, it smells the same as everybody else. I keep saying that.
Yeah,
I try to
Like I
cover
told you, I've been very, very blessed, and I've worked with some amazing people.
And you're gonna tell us about, because this is radio, and we're
very,
wiring
very
it
lucky.
down. But tell us about this one. You hear a picture, and
Well, he's got to
with,
put does he have to put the
Yep,
picture on?
New York radio. In New York radio, we all had a legend. His name was Frankie Crocker. And,
yeah. Tell me about it.
and
right?
here's the picture with you and Frankie. So what's that about?
Well, that particular picture was taken in London, England.
Mhm.
Again, Frankie. I could tell. I told you I wanted to tell the story. I could tell the story now. I could never tell it when Frankie was alive.
All right.
So that was taken. We were judges at a DMC contest in England, and there was Juggy Gales. And Juggy Gales was Frankie's Juggy was so close.
By the way, Juggy Gales was Sleeping Bag Records for those.
Yes,
that,
but and also an independent promoter,
Right.
and Frankie were very close. And Juggy worked for RFC with Ray, and so when he would come up to Ray, he would go to WBLS afterwards when Frankie was the end of his shift, 4 to 8. So many times I would go up there with Juggy, and I got to know Frankie. I didn't know Frankie's phone number or anything, where he lived or anything, but I mean, I even went with Juggy to Frankie's mother's house in Los Angeles.
Wow.
Yeah, that was like how close I was with Juggy. So I was very lucky, and this was taken in England, like I said, and Frankie Crocker was just like a legend. But I was very lucky that he loved Larry Levan.
Mm-hmm.
So he would come to the garage on a Friday, and because Larry had a lot of trust in me, amongst a few others, he trusted Ray, he trusted Francois.
Mm-hmm.
Larry would play my records. Now, Larry would play stuff. It almost caused friction with me at MCA Records, because stuff like Kraftwerk and Tom Tom Club were records that were not being promoted by the Rhythm and Blues department, but WBLS was, quote, handled by the Rhythm and Blues department.
Mm-hmm.
So when Larry played like Wordy Rapping Hood or Genius of Love, or Numbers by Kraftwerk, or I'm trying to think of some Talking Heads, I Zimbra, and these records broke out of the dance department, not out of the Rhythm and Blues department, but Frankie Crocker was playing them on a show. I felt a little hostility towards me from the Rhythm and Blues person, because he wasn't playing, let's say, Al Jarreau, but he's playing Talking Heads, where the priority for the Rhythm and Blues department, let's say, was an Al Jarreau record, or a Larry Graham, which he did play, or George Benson, which he did play. But nonetheless, Frankie Crocker would play things that he used to take the records from Larry, and they'd be on his show on Monday at 4:00. So, I mean, that kind of really helped me with getting the job at MCA Records, because we were selling a ton of records in New York that were breaking out of the dance department. And Larry Levan was so responsible for that.
Amazing.
And Frankie Crocker. I always give the two of them so much credit for help. Look, they didn't know they were helping me out, but
Amazing.
in a roundabout way, the two of them helped me out tremendous, especially Frankie Crocker playing these records.
I can still hear
This
the
has
intro.
been amazing.
The intro, Frankie, it's him, my idol.
I love
Right.
it. Yeah. Frank.
Well,
Made
guys-
sure you live to be 100 and me 100 minus a day.
Hey.
So I'll never know like nice people like you have passed away.
That was the best.
I mean,
thing,
he played Madonna. That wasn't not coming out of the rhythm and blues
Right.
department.
Right.
Which I thought that's when I thought she was a black artist because
Well,
I
we
heard
kept
it-
her
I heard
picture
it on
off.
BLS.
Her picture was not on the first
Right.
12-inch.
Right, that's right. Yeah.
It was a street scene.
Well,
Oh,
guys,
my
I
God.
hate to
Bobby,
say this,
I
but
know,
the
this has
time
What do you
been
mean? We're done
amazing.
already? That's
We're
impossible.
done. It's already.
No, we started like 5 after 6. Don't we have another 5 minutes?
It's about that time. We've got so much great story. We're gonna bring you back.
We
that
got
Well, we
to
didn't
bring
even
you
we didn't even talk about
No.
we have a lot to talk
Yeah,
about.
we
you
gotta
didn't tell us.
definitely
You
bring you
didn't tell
back.
us about Jimmy Fallon. You didn't tell us
No.
about Bradley Cooper. You
No.
know, you didn't tell us so many
So
great
you know what? We
stories.
definitely got to
We
bring
got
him
to bring
back.
him back. So this has been amazing, Bobby Shaw.
We wanna
you
thank
so
you.
much. And we've got that thing for you.
Thank you
It's
for the
over-
opportunity.
Yeah, it's over there at the end. So he's gonna give you a right there at the.
A sign thing? I have to sign?
No, it's just a way of saying thank you and that you join us and being a
Oh
part
my
of us.
God, the $1,000. I
Yeah.
love it.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna definitely have.
Oh my God,
have
this will look
uploaded.
great on eBay.
You get the highest bidder.
Oh, this is
Go
gonna
out,
be
go out
great.
with that song, the Bronsky Beat song. I love that song. Another great song by that was on MCA Records.
I didn't
Yeah.
send you the picture of me and Jimmy Somerville.
Oh my goodness.
Next one.
We're gonna have
If
a lot
we
more.
do it again,
Bobby Shaw.
you know I'm up for doing it again. I love talking.
Yeah, we're bringing you back. Bobby Shaw on the Mix Lab with Jason Rios. I'm Lefty
Thank you,
Hernandez.
guys.
You guys, you've been awesome.
Thanks,
man.
guys, for this awesome opportunity.
And we want to thank you guys for tuning in.
Yep.
Thank you so
And,
much.
and I really want to thank all the DJs who have supported me
There
over the
you go.
years.
Awesome.
I've had such great records.
Good
and Thanks for
DJs.
listening.
Bobby Shaw Promotions, formerly MCA, Warner Brother Records. You guys been awesome. Love you. See you on the radio.
We didn't even talk about me going promotion on my own.
I
We
know.
never even got to that.
We didn't even.